The White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt just cost Donald Trump in court because she couldn't help but run her mouth on Twitter. If you aren't familiar with her, she is a failed politician who faced a FCC complaint in 2022 claiming she illegally accepted donations over the legal limit. Then in January 2025, she amended those 2022 campaign filings to list $326,370 in unpaid campaign debts, which immediately people said that includes her donors, and if that's accurate, that would be a violation of campaign finance law. Now, you might be wondering, how does that make her qualified to be press secretary? And what you must not know is she's 27, but she's married to a 60-year-old man? I mean, accused of crimes, willing to sleep with old men, there's nothing more the GOP could ask for when it comes to a young woman working for them. Now, she already made headlines as the press secretary by lying that $50 million were spent on condoms for Gaza. She got those headlines, and then it was later denied by the government officials, but she had no consequences, and the conservative media is still repeating the condoms line, even though it is an admitted lie. And then we have the statement behind me. This is not a rescission of the federal funding freeze. It is simply a rescission of the OMB memo. Why? To end any confusion created by the court's injunction, the president's EOs on federal funding remain in full force and effect and will be rigorously implemented. Really now? Because the judge made it clear that after receiving that OMB memo, that the judge, that they had to go to court today, was considering ruling that every single freeze would have to be fought in court individually. That the states, because the states are taking Trump to court, we'll get more to why in a bit, that they would have to go to each individual freeze, for a freeze for housing, a freeze for cancer research, whatever. They would have to do that individually. But due to the highly ambiguous OMB memo, and, this is my favorite part, based on comments by the president's press secretary, instead, a restraining order has been granted stopping Trump's plan to stop all the funds approved by Congress for childcare, Medicaid, housing assistance, stopping human trafficking, cancer research, veteran suicide hotlines, etc. That funding will still be going through because of a restraining order that was, it sounds like, only put in place because she opened her mouth on Twitter. She let the game be known. It was very obvious when she said this that what the White House was hoping for is that they would be able to find essentially a loophole to try to delay the court stopping them. And she screwed it up by giving the game away. Now, it's also worth remembering, this is not the first time someone's tried a plan like Trump. It was done by another president that I think he is very similar to, Nixon. Nixon did something similar and then lost 9-0 at the Supreme Court level. There's a law that exists specifically stopping Trump's plan here. Congress approved the funds. Trump can't stop it. But he's going to try. But for now, there's a restraining order. And going by the judge, the fault lands on this woman. Now, we know from his last presidency, he went through those press secretaries really fast until eventually he got a press secretary that simply just refused to do her job and just didn't speak to the press. And that one got to keep her job. I think we might be having a repeat here.